When you do start pulling, straight lines, no turns, because they're still, they're still getting used to the feel of those shafts on either side of them. When they turn, they're used to just turning like this. When they turn with a shaft, they have to learn, they kind of lean into it and press into the shaft, and they almost push against the shaft and turn. That's how they turn with a cart on. When they're not used to that and you try to start turns, they're going to get very scared, they're going to feel it, they're not going to know what to do. What you want to do is straight lines, till they're really used to the feel of the shafts, the cart, everything behind them. Then you're going to start a nice big circle. Nemo, would you work a little bit? You want to start just a straight line, walking always on leash at first, always. And then you're going to start, come here, Nemo. You're going to start a turn of about this much. Just a very, very broad turn. Very, very broad turn when they're used to the straight line. Now you can see they're going to start feeling this shaft kind of poking into them a little bit over here. And most dogs, when they first start, you will see them walk a little bit awkward. When they're turning, they kind of go, you know, this way. When you start doing your turns, and you see it change from that side step to this crossover. Nemo, come right, come right. Can you see his legs? They're crossing like a skater, front and back. Can you see how he's crossing right over? When you start to do broad turns and you see it change from that side step to a little bit of crossover, then you know they're ready for you to tighten the turns. Now they have figured out how to move with these shafts on either side of them. That's the sign you want to look for to know that you can tighten up your turns. Look for that crossing over of the feet. And from there you can go on to, you know, teaching them pretty much anything, you know, with turns. Turns have to get tighter, and you have to do the backing. You have to teach them the back in just their harness as well as in their cart. So they have to know the difference, you know, backing up in the cart, they're feeling that pressure and having to pull it backwards. It's a very different feeling than just pushing in their harness. So that's the basics of what you need to build on to show them, yeah, you had enough, you did work. You did work, yes. You did work, that's good. No, you're good, you're good. That's the basics of how to get started. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough, proper fitting equipment and take it slow. Those are the two important things to really get it done right. The actual draft test, the St. Bernard has the same draft test as the Newfoundlands. Consists of a few different exercises. I talked about the basic control already. Left turn, right turn, about, turn, halt, fast and slow, recall, and a group down. It's very, very slack. It's not obedience, AKC type obedience. You talk to your dog, you can pat your leg, you can clap your hands, you can tell them to sit, you know, anything you need to do, you know, you clap and pat, and they've got to be like within arm's reach. It's not AKC obedience by any means. On the recall, it's only one command to tell them to stay when you leave them, and it's only one command to come. But as soon as they are up and coming, then you can encourage them and clap and call them in and tell them to sit in front. You don't have to do a finish. So it's much more slack than the regular obedience. And the next exercise is called harness and hitch, and that's to show that you know what your equipment is and that the dog is cooperative for it. You harness your dog, you back your dog 4 feet, and then you hitch your dog, you pull forward 20 feet. This is the point where the judges are checking your equipment, that you understand how to put your equipment on, and they watch you move forward 20 feet to see that the equipment's adjusted properly and working properly. They might have questions about why you've adjusted something a certain way or how this piece of equipment works. That's fine, they just may not have seen it before, but they'll have you haul forward. Once you haul forward and they feel everything's okay with your equipment, then you go into a maneuvering course. It's 360-degree turns, broad turns, 90-degree turns in each direction. 2 narrow areas, a high and a low. They're about 6 feet long. The low is as simple sometimes as just 2 2x4s. The high sometimes is bales of hay or something like that. It's got to be at least 3 feet high, 6 feet long. One of the adjustables is adjusted 12 inches wider than the widest cart entered that day. And that just stays that same distance for every cart that goes through that day. Usually the low narrows is the one they will adjust, and they adjust that 12 inches wider than each cart before you go in. So it's 6 feet, and you've got to get your cart to go nice and straight through there. So this showing a little bit of control with your maneuvering. The other thing that's in a maneuvering course is a removable obstacle. As if you were out working your dog somewhere, and maybe you came to a gate, and maybe this person has some livestock in this fenced-in area, but they will allow you to pass through, so you have to close the gate behind you. So it's something that you have to stop your dog, open a gate, move a log, something you have to move, have your dog pass through, stop them again, and go and return to close the gate, put the log back, whatever, wheelbarrow. I've seen all different things used for a removable obstacle. And that's about it for maneuvering, right? You know, turns. Oh, there's a slow and a halt. And the back with the cart is done during maneuvering. The slow halt and the back with the cart. And they may be all at once. They might say, halt slowly, halt, back. It might be all at once, or they might give you a slow here and a stop there and a back over there. It's up to the judges where they want to put it in the course.